More than half of our species' population is living in cities. The numbers are expected to double by 2050. That's 7 out of 10 humans. Compared to the 1800s, when merely 2% of the human population lived in cities, this migration pattern exploded in the 20th century. The shift is often attributed to rapid industrialization, which allowed the production of food with less workers, while cities were painted as havens of economic opportunity. This relatively recent phenomenon of shifting from the rural to the urban is dubbed urbanization. The urban-rural distinction, which often relies upon varyingly defined population thresholds, offers no universally accepted definition of what urban really is. Factors like the prevalent type of employment, infrastructure development, population density, or simply counting the population of historically defined cities are also used to decide where the rural ends and the urban begins. At any rate, we all seem to accept that urban areas are greatly dynamic and complex systems. Cities are the centers of political and economic power in modern societies. They are the drivers of social, environmental, and physical transformation for the entire species through rapid technological development and economic growth. They are also the breeding ground for massive social and environmental challenges. Unfettered urbanization, also known as the urban sprawl, leads to rapid destruction of nature and inefficient infrastructure planning. Cities consume massive amounts of energy, about 2/3 of the world's total. They generate the vast majority of greenhouse emissions, and they produce over 720 billion tons of waste every year. Obviously, they are major contributors to the climate crisis, while also being particularly susceptible to its impacts. Beyond environmental degradation, urbanization intensifies social problems and inequalities. Lack of proper infrastructure, like mass transportation systems, and affordable housing as well as spatial mismatch lead to extreme impoverishment. They also lead to severe health problems due to pollution, poor nutrition, and sanitation. The rise of infectious diseases like the COVID-19 pandemic and other effects linked to climate change, for example floodings or water scarcity, can form destructive conditions for those most marginalized within the urban environment. To tackle these challenges, a mixture of solutions has been proposed. Technological interventions, typically aggregated under the smart city moniker, in combination with enhanced regulation of the spatial and economic growth of cities, are expected to more efficiently manage their resource and waste flows. The idea is to better track and monitor the various complex systems of interactions in cities. These include the day-to-day lives of citizens to help rationalize the usually market-driven decisions about expansion and development. While such solutions might help tackle some of the most egregious problems of urbanization, assuming we don't overestimate the capacity of technology to provide solutions, they fail to question basic assumptions about the social and economic relations that shape the divide between urban and natural environments, how human societies and their economic activities interact with, or rather are part of, nature. By viewing the issues individual cities face as a localized conundrum to solve, we do not acknowledge the deeper structural problems of modern societies. The field of political ecology strives to uncover these connections between environmental problems, like natural disasters, and the economic and political factors that aggravate them. Political ecology focuses on the role powerful actors play, like multinational corporations and governments, in the interactions between society and nature. Urban political ecology is a subfield that acknowledges the increased impact cities have in this balance and views the city as natural. This is why the definition of urban and the distinction between city and nature is important. For urban political ecology, cities are not perceived as existing outside nature, but as another manifestation of it. one that often generates the aforementioned inequalities. As such, urbanization is the process of transforming natural resources into commodities. Urban political ecologists track the flow of these commodities not in isolation, but as embedded in the socio-political and economic systems of power. These processes, which are termed urban metabolism, illustrate the increasingly complex relationship between nature and societies. And for meaningful solutions, we need to better understand this relationship. All this highlights the need for solutions that transcend the dominant discourses that rely on technological interventions and sustainability limited to the city level. Radical reconceptualizations of the urban environment are emerging. They offer alternative visions of political economy to regulate and manage the urban metabolism that sustains cities. Such visions make evident the importance of democracy and the politics of everyday life as drivers for genuine sustainability in the urban environment.